Hey everybody, DJ Lou here, and I'm going to put my glasses on for this one because this is going to require precision. I'm going to be moving things out of my wireless case and putting it all in a DeWalt T-Stak system. Let's talk about this. Alright everybody, before we start the video, please navigate down, hit that subscribe button, make sure you ding that notification bell as well. Also make sure to like the video, and please, if you want to support the channel, head over to my Patreon page and subscribe. So for some years now, I've used a Pelican-like case as a wireless kit, basically just storing anything that I had that was geared towards wireless because I have a modular system to begin with, so I can move things around as necessary. So I'll have like a big mic case that has all my, my mics, has my lavaliers, anything that I need. I also have a reception bag as well that has all my ancillary stuff like cables and, tape and stuff like that. But I've been trying to simplify some things a bit and have a little bit more organization and ultimately a bit of room for expansion. And I was trying to think of a way that I could basically stack my system so I would have multiple layers of things to be able to access. So this way it's not too deep, it's still easy to kind of carry around. And I've been hunting around with different systems to see if they would fit. So ultimately I settled on the T-Stak system from DeWalt. Now, my criteria was pretty simple. I didn't want anything super deep. I didn't want anything super heavy. And I wanted the ability basically to stack the stuff that I was using. So this way I would have essentially multiple drawers or other ways to access different layers of stuff. Now I have seen some very, very high-end wireless professionals, people who work in film and live sound. They'll usually use like a Pelican case and basically have a couple layers of foam to kind of work around. Now that's great, but on the field I thought that having basically kind of more like a drawer-like access would be more beneficial for me. Now I could talk about this, but I'd rather show how the system works and what I'm going to be using to basically assemble all my stuff, to organize all my stuff. So let's head over to the table and let's get into this. Alright, so this is what I'm dealing with right now. It is a knockoff Pelican case. Definitely snaps hard, which is actually a negative at times when you want to try to get to things, but of course keeping it sealed is a definite positive. And this is what's in the case right now. I do have two Countryman mics, so I have the cases still for it. I have my E6 Flex that goes on the Efficients, and I do have an MK2 Gold. This thing is an amazing mic. We'll get into that a little bit later. We do have my XLR cables, thanks Benstow and LFX. Great cables that I've used. I actually got some spares as well, but those are the ones I keep because I have 3 IEM packs in here. I also have my RF Explorer, really comes in handy. Of course, 3 handhelds. I always have, usually the way I kind of work this out is I'll have one at the ceremony on me at all times. I'll have a second that is ready for anybody speaking, and then the third I run as a spare, or if I'm only running one mic for some reason, then I'll have this mic over at my reception rig. I do have the original Sennheiser mic. It works well. I just, now that I have the gold mic, it definitely is a little bit better than this, but it's not bad at all. And I have 2 lav packs. I do have another compartment for a third that I want to buy just to have. And I have my batteries. And if anybody's seen this before, I put my batteries upside down when they need to be charged and the right side up when they've been charged. So really nice and simple layout. This isn't too heavy, but as you can see, I really can't add more into this. And something I've noticed over time is this will actually extend well past just this 90-degree point. And when I am out on the field, I've got this on top of my cases that can add some extra weight in the back, and it wants to kind of fly away from me, something I don't like to have. So what I'm going to do, and this is all going to be in real time, I'm going to start breaking down all this, and I'm going to be putting in something new that I'm going to show you in a second. And something that's pretty typical. Your foam will eventually give on you. I did as best of a job as I could cutting this, because as you can see, I was really close on the edge with these batteries. Probably could have moved it down one more, but just something to be mindful is, this does deteriorate over time. It's just a given, but that's what we got. So we're gonna take this all out here for a second. Oh, one other thing I noticed that I try to avoid is, because I put my mics in here, every now and then this wants to push out and it wants to clasp onto this. So I try to kind of push that in there before I close things up. And what I've got is actually 3 pieces. So this is the DeWalt T-Stak's 2-drawer model. Very nice. Closes and locks, which is really nice. It's on some type of ball bearing rail system, which makes it nice and smooth. And the interlock, so you know, I can place another unit top or bottom here and clasp it up, which is what I plan on doing. This is the larger 1-drawer model. Actually even comes with containers. I don't know if we're going to use these or not. We'll try to repurpose it if possible. But because of the 2-drawer model, it would not fit my handheld. It was about 3 millimeters too short. I went ahead and got this one. So we're going to work this out kind of live. Again, you know, this is me literally getting in. I still have the tags on it. And I don't know if I'm going to use this yet. This would be the top to it if I want to do that. Just a nice cavernous space. Might put cables in here, but it does add some height to this. So something I'm going to consider as we get this all together. But we have a lot of work that we have to do, and something that we're going to be putting in these drawers are custom foam inserts. So this is actually multi-layered, so you can really get down to very specific heights that you want things in. Of course, I've got the 2 for my smaller drawers, the 1 for the larger drawer. And just notice if you do get these, you know, there's actually slightly larger piece. I believe that one goes, make sure that's top or bottom. We'll have to look at that. Same with these. This has a slightly larger section than the others. So we'll look at that as we get this all together. But this is going to be this fun project. In addition to this all, I plan to use some new cases to hold all my mics. So you know, this is just a nice little simple, I think it's like 6x3 case. I'm going to put some labels on here to indicate which mic is which. But I just wanted something a little bit more compact and a little bit more predictable, so all these can be stacked fairly easy. I have an idea where I'm going to put these, but that is going to be the plan. More and more organization. And of course, we cannot forget to label, and I actually picked up some colored labels. So I do have white in here, I do have red, yellow, and blue. So, you know, there could be that I decide that yellow is going to be for my labs, red could be for my my over-the-ear, blue could be for something else, like spare parts. But color coordination is always nice, and having a label maker is always handy. So I think we're going to start with a larger one. Let's open this up. Let's take these very deep cases on out of here. And what we're left with is definitely a nice cavernous area to work with. Let's take a look at how this foam should work out. Let's see if the top goes on like this. Everything looks nice and solid. That looks really decent. Of course, now I got to work this out. And of course, again, the reason I bought this was that these mics need some space. Just 3 millimeters too tall for the others. But it's actually pretty, you know, we got a lot of room in here as well. And I'm thinking on this side, stacking maybe 2 and 2 for here. So I think that's what's going to be the plan. So that leaves us with this foam insert. This is Kaizen foam, by the way. You know, it takes them a few days to kind of cut this out, but it's one that actually was perfectly fitted for these. So, you know, naturally, the closer to a great fit, the better I think everything is. And if we kind of work this out here, we're gonna have a microphone about here. If it wants to stay, stay. And can we fit 2? Stay! Yeah, I think we can do that. So we'll put 2 here and 2 here. And now I just have to determine, do I want them like this? I think so, because when I go ahead and put this in here, there'll be less cut touching that. So I think I'm gonna face them like this. I want to see if I can work in 4, probably not. So I could theoretically fit 4 in here. And now the question is, when I make these cuts, would that be just too much to work in here? Alright, as ugly as that is my first cut. And something you should always try is cut a little bit less to begin with to see if it'll fit in snug, and then trim out what's needed when you're doing this. Alright, now one of the tips I have learned about this Kaizen foam is you're supposed to use your fingers kind of like a rake, so you're getting to a specific level of the foam. So just don't pull or anything, like kind of get your finger in there and kind of work it a bit. Now, this wasn't super clean, but you know what? It still worked and I can still dig into this. But what I first want to test is see how well this all fits and see where I might need to trim. Alright, not bad. Now we're going to make sure this all fits inside. Not too shabby. Alright, now before I decide to go with the 4 mics versus 3 mics, I want to kind of gauge this out again a little. Is this, going to give? I mean, this seems to be pretty tight. But of course, naturally having more cushion around would be a lot nicer. All right, before I cut the other mics, I think I'm going to go with the containers, just because I also know I have this edge here and I want to see how this edge plays. This is pretty decent. I want to make sure that the others go as well. This is much deeper, so this should be a much more interesting cut here. And of course, this is why you always have to be careful of things like this. Luckily, it's way down, but mistakes can and do happen. Be careful when you're doing stuff like this, people. All right, that should be enough. All right, so notice a couple things definitely did come through. Not surprising. It's just what happens when you're working with foam, especially this piece here. This is one that's irritating me just a bit more than I had hoped, but you know what? It still should be sound. Now, playing with this, I think I'm just going to go with the 3 mics in here. Not too shabby. All right, so the first shelf is done now. Notice, that does add some weight and pull down, but I will have the second drawer here on top. Now I'm going to work on the lavs. All right, so next step, I have my lavs, my Countryman E6 Flex. I'm going to put all these into individual cases. So, super simple. Just type it on out. One dashboard. And there we go. Nicely marked and easy to grab. All right, that's done. Now it's the 2-drawer version. Now, these do have dividers in here that I'm not going to use, so we're just going to remove them. So that leaves us 2 drawers, which of course we have 2 pieces of foam for. Now, in this case, I am putting the lav packs in here, and they're probably going to have to go this way. Now what I could do is make 1 drawer for the mic, 1 drawer for the IEMs, but you know, I doubt I'm going to get that large. And I mean, if I could always just get another piece of foam and rearrange, but I think I'm just going to make this the lav drawer, and the top drawer I can make miscellaneous, some additional battery packs and all that. So I think this is the route I'm going to go. I'm going to think about this for a minute. Alright, so I do think I have my master plan. We will simply stack these. Let's see. Alright, we're going to go into the top box. I'm still debating whether to use this in the setup or not. It definitely makes it a bit taller, but this can be very convenient. So what I've done here is taken those containers that was in the bottom large shelf. I've made 2 basic things. I got one that has all the mic attachment pieces that I need. I think that's going to come in kind of handy. And then I've got my emergency kit, everything from double-sided tape, from some wipes, some Advil, some more double-sided tape down there. I normally carry an EpiPen with me as well. I actually got to get a new one on that. Then in quick layers, we have power cables. We have my normal mic cables going from my mic box to my Soundcraft. And now we can put my IEM cables in here as well. And this keeps everything actually pretty tidy. This isn't that heavy at all with everything in here. It just makes things a little more bulky to use, but I think I am going to use this ultimately. I just got to get used to a little bit more of the top bulk in this. All right, so a final rundown what we have our microphones. So these are all the handhelds. I still need to kind of work these in just a little so they fit a bit better. And of course, I have all my lavs and my over the ear, clearly marked, colored as well. So definitely should be very easy to see. Then we have transmitters and receivers. I do plan getting more, so it's nice that I have some additional space. I actually tucked the antennas in just a hair, just so they don't accidentally catch on anything. We got our batteries, which yes, I need to put some more in here, but I did put them in the wrong spot. The RF Explorer is in the right spot because this is the best way that it would fit. And I have my cables and stuff container, which just has everything else that I need. Well, there's a video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If so, make sure you hit that thumbs up, and of course hit subscribe below. It helps the algorithm. Head over to my Patreon page and subscribe if you want to support the page. Naturally, if you like videos like this and want to see more, check out everything else I have on my channel. Thanks, and be safe, everybody.